Welcome to a video from thedigital-lifestyle.com. I'm Ian Dixon, and in this video I'm going to show you what's changed in this build of Windows 11 for Windows Insiders on the dev channel. This is build 25188, and I'm going to show you what's new in this build. At the moment these builds aren't getting massive changes or whole heaps of new features, but there are some nice tweaks coming through, some fixes, and I'll look at the known issues as well. So let's start off with the main change that in this build, and there's an extra setting for the touch keyboard. Here are the old settings, because what Microsoft's done is they've not rolled this out to everybody, and clearly my device hasn't got it. So you see this option there, show the touch keyboard when there's no keyboard attached. That's a toggle option, and you can have that on or off. The new setting, which I can show you from a screenshot from the Windows Insider blog, is the option of never, no keyboard attached, and always. So I quite like that setting because I'm using a virtual machine here on this Surface laptop studio, and so it thinks the keyboard's connected, but sometimes I might want to use a touch input on it. So yeah, I would have that option there. So it's a shame that they've not actually rolled it out to my device, but that's one of the things with Insider build testing, is you're not always guaranteed to get the feature, and Microsoft roll it over time. So by next week that feature could be here, and I'll be able to show you on next week's video. But sometimes they don't always roll out. But that actually was the main change with this build. So a change here is with the terminal setting, you know, command prompt, PowerShell, that kind of thing, is what it determines the default console is, and by default it'll be the Windows terminal. This app, as opposed to the old command prompt, so that's the default when something requires a terminal instead of the old command prompt. But you can then override it and preset it yourself, so which you prefer. Another setting that's been added as well, I can't show you that either because I've not got Wi-Fi on this virtual machine. It thinks it's just got a LAN card from the host machine, but there's a link to show the advanced properties when you're in there as well. So the rest of the changes are fixes, and Microsoft have fixed an issue with taskbar overflow. I've shown it on the previous videos where when you've got multiple ones with apps open, you get the little taskbar overflow, which works great. But Microsoft, they fixed some issues with sort of crashing issues or reliability issues caused by that as well. They fixed some issues with the start menu only showing one column instead of two, and they fixed some narrator issues. There's a whole bunch of File Explorer issues that have been fixed as well, which would you wouldn't be able to get into certain folders because it would crash, and they've fixed some UI issues with File Explorer as well. They fixed some search issues, some settings issues, task manager issues, and some language issues. Now there's still some known issues with this build. Anti-cheat software may crash, so that's where if you're using anti-cheat software with your Windows 11 machine on the dev channel, it may crash when the anti-cheat software kicks in. I would kind of recommend not really using the dev channel builds for gaming machines, and you keep that free gaming machine, and because of this kind of issue. There's still some issues with audio not working, audio stopping working with these builds. I haven't found that yet. I've got it running on my Surface Go, which well, the keyboard no longer works, the sound is working fine. They fixed some issue, and there's still some issues with enabling .NET Frameworks 3.5 and disabling it as well. So if you've got an application that's dependent on .NET 3.5, then you may have some issues with that as well. And there's some issues with the search box color, and the new one is File Explorer appearing to open and close drawing when launched from certain locations. So the File Explorer appears and then just disappears, and they're going to fix that as well. And there's a couple of widget type issues as well. Oh, and printing as well. There's still some issues with printing from certain apps. That's been in this build for, or these builds. This bug has been in the builds for some time. So that's the main changes. It can be a bit frustrating sometimes when you don't get all the changes, but you know, that's the nature of testing. Windows 22 H2, the big update for Windows 11, is due very soon. I've got some videos of that on our YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter @IrisDixon. Thanks for watching.